Okay, welcome back to Algebra 2 class, and we are continuing our work with powers and roots and radicals, and this lesson is on page 204. We're only going to do 1 through 12 only, 1 through 12 only, so please pay attention to that. That's what you need to turn in. This is about raising radicals to powers and such like that. And the lesson is broken up into like 3 sections. They ask you to square a few, they ask you to cube a few, and then they ask you to expand a few because they won't be squares or cubes. They could be 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, whatever. So I'm going to do an example on each one of them, and this should be a fairly short video. So on the first section it says to square these. It means to square this whole entire thing. The whole thing needs to be squared, okay? But you need to put it in fractional form instead of root form to do that. So what we would do, remember that this is the bottom of the exponent and whatever number here is the top. So that would be 2 1/3 and a 1/3. And then this would be a 3 out here, and we're going to square both of those. 3 times 3, which is 3 squared, is 9. Okay, that takes care of that. When we're doing the fractions here, we can just put this over 1, and that would be like 2 times 1 and 1 times 3. So this would be 2/3. The 2 would be 2/3, and the a would be 2/3. Okay, so actually I feel like this one would be a lot easier to go about it the other route, and I just worked it out. I don't know which route I used. We'll go about it this way. Some of them, if this is not a 3, you can just square this and square that. But since this is a 3, we'll keep it this way because this is the proper technique of what we're doing here. I just want to make sure this is problem 2. Yeah, okay. So once we have that, we need to put this back in the radical and simplify it if we can. So we have our 9 outside the radical. And then inside the radical, on the outside, we still have 3s, or a 3. But on the inside, we're going to have 2 squared, because this 3 goes out here and the 2 stays with this. So 2 squared is 4. And then this would be a squared. And that would be your completed answer. Okay? So if they are not a square, then when you square them, you have to put them back in this form. But say you had something, try not to do the one on there because there's not that many problems in this. Say you had 3 xy, and they told you to square that. You could just square this and get 9. And then this would be, if you squared this, this would turn this into radical x squared y squared, and the square roots of that would just be x and y. So you could do it like that if this was a square and that was a square. But since it's not, you got to put it back in the form. What do I do with my towel? Found it. Alright, so again, we'll go in this one. And it says to square it, and we'll just keep with the, even though this is a multiple, it's a 4, so it is an even number, but we'll keep doing it the proper way. When we do that, out here, if you raise an exponent to an exponent, it's multiplication, but 2 plus 2 and 2 plus and 2 times 2 are the same thing. So this is going to be y to the 4th. Okay, then we're going to put this in fractional form, so this is going to be 4 to the 1/4, c to the 2/4, and d to the 1/4. Connect your d. Alright, and then out here, we're going to have our 2 over 1. We've already did this one. We've already squared that, so That's coming in the answer no matter what. So I will write y to the 4th right here. Okay, and then when we multiply these things, this is 2 times 1, so that's going to be y to the 2/4, c to the 4/4, and d to the 2/4. All right, we put that back in the radical and then simplify it as best we can. So if I put this in here, that would be y2 c4 d2. And I can take this one out and make it, no, that doesn't seem right. Seemed like I did that the longer way. There's an easier way to do that. Getting me caught up on here, but I think because this one and that one, everything can just be raised to the 2/4. Just like you take this exponent, put it over that. I think I just worked this out. Yeah. So I was doing it the long way. So I went ahead and made this look like this. This would still be the y/4 if we squared that and we leave that alone. But this portion right here, because that 4 is right there, and we're going to have a 2 out here, we could have just did 4c squared d to the 2/4, this one over top of that one, and it would save us like 2 steps, I think. Because then we could put this back, I don't know why I'm getting hung up on this. I feel like I'm going to have to redo this whole video. So 2/4 reduces to 1/2. So really, I could write this as 1/2, okay? Because that was 2/4, and if we reduce that, we get 1/2. Then we're going to put it back in the radical and simplify it. With the 1, that means none of these exponents change, but the outside changed to a 2. This is what happens when you try to rush and do a bunch of things at once. You start getting flustered and mess up stuff. So don't do that. Take your time. I'm just trying to hurry up and get as much content out, and I'm not focusing very well. So this is now a square root. We don't have to write that 2, but I wanted you to see where it went. Okay, it goes out here, and the 1 goes here, which doesn't change any of those exponents. I have that y/4 out here now. Now that I have the y to the 4th out here, I can take the square root of 4. It's a 2, right? Square root of 4 is a 2. It comes out here, so far I have 2y to the 4th. C squared has a perfect square. The square root of c squared is c. It's got to come out, so I have a c. D does not have a perfect square root, so it has to stay in the radical. And this is your answer, and to be more correct, this is your answer. Put them alphabetically. This is not wrong because multiplication can go either way, but alphabetically is how they're technically supposed to be. So, to reiterate that train wreck that I just drove you through, if you have a number out here and your root over here is going to be able to reduce, so a 2 and a 4 or a 3 and a 6 or something like that, it's easier to bring those two and make an exponent out here and reduce it and then apply it, instead of the first way. I was going to apply all that, then apply all the 2, and then reduce all of them, then put it back. So it would save a couple steps if you don't mess it up like I did. Alright, let's move on to the cube and the expand. I know, you are all thinking, if you can't do it, how do you expect us to do it? Okay? We're going to get through this. If I want to quote our governor, we're going to get through this. All right, together. Not really. You're stuck at home on your own watching my video, and this is all I got for you. But we'll make it through. Alright, so the next portion says cube. There's only 4 in this one, so I picked one that was kind of middle of the line in here. And so remember the outside numbers, you have to square them, cube them, whatever it is that they ask to do also. So don't forget about that and pay attention, okay? Don't do 3 times 3 is 9 because this is a cube, not, it's telling me to cube this, not the other way around. So what I'm going to do is put them in the correct form, even though, okay, I'm noting that this is a cube and I'm about to put a 3 up here. I'm going to note that, all right? There is 2 ways to do it. Maybe I'll show you both ways. I probably should move my book over here and the notes that I already did so that it will be easier for me to do. But all right, so if I wanted to put this, I'm going to put this over here and leave it for a minute. If I wanted to put this in fractional form, this goes on the bottom, this goes on the top, always. They want me to cube that, and they also want me to cube that. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. That's the number there, okay? Remember, if I have a fraction in here and I'm multiplying, I could put that over 1. So that's like saying 2/3 times 3 over 1. The 3's would cancel out, cross multiplication, and that's just going to leave me with x squared, and that would actually be my answer. I want to double check that. Yeah, that would actually be my answer. So this one's kind of a simple problem. However, since I had a 3 here and I was going to have the 3 on the outside like this, I could have canceled those 3's out like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I could have canceled them out like that. But it worked out pretty simple this way. So I'm going to leave that alone. And I was thinking that x squared is going to throw me off because you can't take a cube. I was trying to take the root out of it, and why isn't it x? Because there's not a cube root of x squared. So that one was simple enough. So on the cubes, you can go ahead and just do them. Let's just do them all the correct by the book way and see what happens. Alright, the last one I'm going to show you because I'm ready for this video to be over. And you probably are too. You might have already turned it off and just said the heck with it, but I don't blame you. The expand, which just means that you're going to get a root bigger than 2 or a square or a cube. You're going to get one bigger than the 2 or the 3 because we don't have a special name for that. So this is to the 6th power. I picked this one because it had letters in the exponents, and I know you guys hate that and it always confuses you. But if you notice, there's no radical sign here, so it's actually the second portion. We're already to this part without that part. So what we're going to do, other than this 3, which has to get to the 6th power, and it is a -3, so the answer will be positive because that's even. 3 to the 6th power is 729. Okay, you can use your calculator button that looks like that. You put the 3 there, put the 6 there, and you'll get 729. Alright, so that takes care of this. This is out of my life. I don't need to deal with it anymore. I have these, alright. Well, 6 times m is going to give me 6m over 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So this is going to be a 3m. Okay. Same scenario here. 6 times m is going to give me 6m over 2. 2 goes into 6 3 times. This is going to be x 3M, and it's over. And that one was so much easier than the other ones, and it's toward the middle of the page, so you think it wouldn't. But as you get through these, you get more fluent, and they won't be that bad. I apologize for messing you up earlier. Please only do 1 through 12 on this page. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day. God bless.